There's a new fraud to watch out for at the U.S. Bank branch on campus.
A prom for LGBTQ students receives public backlash.
The Haggerty Art Museum receives a grant to work on a citywide project.
Giving to the community, service to the community.
And Marquette University partnered with the Hunger Task Force on a homecoming event. All this and more right here on Marquette Now.
Good evening, Marquette. This is Marquette Now. I'm Grace Terry.
And I'm Julia Marshall. Tonight, we have the latest on Marquette's campus and around Milwaukee.
Students that use the U.S. Bank branch on the AMU should be aware of possible scams. U.S. Bank branch manager Elizabeth Luckett has been at Marquette since 2013 and is familiar with scammers targeting students. Luckett says student-centered frauds are usually shopping scams. University spokesman Chris Jenkins says the university is also aware of students being asked to open bank accounts or give money or bank information to persons who claim they are looking for support in starting a business. Luckett recommends students speak to their bank branch if they suspect any unusual activity.
The alleged sexual assault case that occurred on campus Friday, September 22nd has been halted by the Milwaukee District Attorney. The male suspect arrested that night has made bail and will await an investigation with the university, regardless of all criminal charges. He will also remain a student for the time being until a ruling is made in December. MUPD has recommended the DA press charges based on the evidence found.
Marquette will be the first Catholic university to host a Pride Prom if the LGBTQ Resource Center's plan to host the dance in the spring of 2018 goes through. However, the event has not been met with excitement from the entire community. A petition from TFP Student Actions is circulating the internet urging President Lovell to shut the dance down. In response to the petition, university spokesperson Brian Dorrington said, quote, "Marquette strives at every level to foster a culture of inclusion, which means we are a community that respects, welcomes, and promotes a sense of belonging."
The aftermath of Hurricane Maria hitting Puerto Rico is affecting many students here at Marquette. Freshman Brittany Roman finally contacted her family 2 weeks after the hurricane struck, while sophomore Allie DeLuca can only contact her family through calls via WhatsApp. Marquette University and its students are doing everything they can to help the people in Puerto Rico by holding fundraisers, starting GoFundMes, and holding a mass for the students affected by Maria. For more information on how to help, visit today.marquette.edu.
Marquette's very own business student, Nick Athantis, brings his family's company's nutrition bars to Sendex. This company started 5 years ago when Nick was still in high school. After becoming a part of his mother's company, Fighter Food, he has switched his major to marketing. He found through his business that he loves how the company does more than just sell health granola bars. They help impact the community.
Elementary, middle, and high school-aged girls come to Marquette every Tuesday night to learn how to do computer programming. Marquette Wire's Amelia Jones attended this week's Girls Who Code meeting.
When we think of foreign language, digital aliens and astronauts are not the first idea that pops into our heads. That's because it's not technically a foreign language. It's computer coding. And these elementary, middle, and high school girls are learning this foreign language of computer programming through the organization Girls Who Code.
Oh my gosh. I mean, you can see a room full of girls in there, and they're all sitting down and really excited about doing something on a computer in what's been typically a male-dominated force. So this is giving them a chance to break into and see what kind of careers are out there before they've made any decisions about what they want to do with their future.
And she is not wrong that the science and technology field is male-dominated. In 2015, out of the 57% of women who received bachelor degrees in college, only 18% of those women received that degree in computer science. This is a complete change from the 37% of women who received computer science degrees in 1985. Now, the U.S. Department of Labor actually estimates that by 2020, there will be a 1 million job gap in this industry, which means that there will be 1 million jobs available, but not nearly enough professionals to take them. Which is why also organizations like Girls for Code are so important for today's youth.
Everyone is smart enough to do anything they can, and a lot of women don't think they're smart enough because they're told that they're not. And they just can't believe that. No one's a math person, and no one's just like a reading person. If you've ever seen someone who's like good at something, it's because they practice and they do it a lot, and it's just how they've been surrounded with that topic in their life. So you just need to bring it into your life and learn how to do it. It's not just that they're just magically good at it. It's not genetics. It's just they worked hard to do that, and you can too if you really want to do it.
And with each semicolon and parentheses, Girls Who Code is rewriting what defines a computer programmer. In Cudahy, Amelia Jones, Marquette Wire News.
If you want to know more information about the Girls Who Code Club, you can read the full story on marquettewire.org.
Now, Jack Ryan has your weather update. Jack, what's the deal with this persistent heat?
I don't know the deal, but it looks like we will have this persistent heat last with us for the next couple days. Tonight, it will be a clear of 67 degrees and with a wind of around 9 miles per hour, so it is hot for today in October. And then across the nation, in Milwaukee, it is 71 degrees. And then to the south in St. Louis, it is 78 degrees. In Houston, it is 85 degrees. In Denver, it is 69 degrees. In LA, it is 78 degrees, so pretty normal for that time of the year in LA. And then to the north of them, it is 66 degrees in Seattle. And then just to the south of us in Atlanta, Georgia, it's 68 degrees. And then to the east of us in New York City, it is 72 degrees there. Then at Marquette, it is 69 degrees. And then to the west of us, it's a little colder in Madison with a high of 58 degrees. And then just to the north of us in Green Bay, there's a high of 63 degrees. And then in Wausau, a high of 58 degrees. And in Eau Claire, a high of 60 degrees. And then tomorrow, expect 69 degrees and partly cloudy around 9 a.m. tomorrow with the winds of around 5 miles per hour. But overall, it looks like it's going to be a great day and a nice temperature for this early in October. And that's all I have. Now back to you, Grace and Julia.
Thanks, Jack. Coming up after the break, students are petitioning for a new major to be offered at Marquette. Marquette is hoping a $1 million donation will benefit the university's goals for diversity. And Larson Seaver visited the farmers market at Westtown Square.
Plus, we have your Marquette Sports Report. Stay tuned right here on Marquette Now. Welcome back to Marquette Now. I'm Grace Terry.
And I'm Julia Marshall. Here's what is happening on Marquette's campus.
Haggerty Museum of Art artist Mary Miss and the City as Living Laboratory recently received a $1,046,404 grant from the Institute of Museum and Library Services. This grant is going directly toward funding for a collaborative art project called Waterworks. Waterworks is a project that shows the important role water has in everyday life. The project began 2 years ago when Susan Longhenry became the director and chief curator of the Haggerty Museum. The first piece of the sculpture is expected to be placed in the Walker Square area next summer.
This Friday, Marquette will see more than just cars, buses, and bikes rolling down 12th Street. It's homecoming week, so the second annual bed races are back. Students have the opportunity to form teams of 5 competing in multiple heats. These races will be taking place on Friday, October 6th at 4 p.m. Sign-ups are full, but make sure to head down and watch and support your fellow students.
This weekend, there are so many events for students to take part in besides the homecoming concert. MUSG has decided to sponsor 2 events that you should take a look at this week. The first being Marquette's Got Talent this Thursday, October 5th at 8:30 p.m. in Varsity Theater. This event is a talent show being emceed by Provost Myers, showcasing students' unique talent. And to top off the night after the concert, there will be late-night breakfast on Saturday night at 10 p.m. in the AMU ballrooms, where students can expect delicious breakfast food.
Marquette senior Jordan Hirsch and UW-Milwaukee graduate Jared Judge are on a mission to launch their new company, Book Live. Book Live is a platform where musicians, like local bands and DJs, can book events quickly and smoothly. The site allows musicians to create profiles, post performance packages, and set ticket prices for their shows. Co-founder Judge believes this site will make the business side of music easier. Hirsch and Judge now hope to receive venture capital from investors.
As part of many activities for Homecoming Week, Westtown Square was turned into a hub for fresh produce on Tuesday for the Stuff the Truck event and the farmers market. Larson Seaver has the story.
It's only been 2 days of homecoming weekend and we've already seen so many different activities here on campus. I'm out here on this beautiful day at Westtown Square for the farmers market, where there's fresh produce, grilled food items, and right behind me, a Stuff the Truck donation.
Everything we do in the dorms is made here in-house. We purchase fresh. We try to purchase local. So we don't use really anything frozen. Even all of our bakers are made right here on campus. All our desserts are made right here on campus. I was just showing where we get our products from, and we also try to do it locally. So the point of this farmers market really is to give the students a chance to have what we have in the dorms every day, but we have large buying power, so we buy it at cost and sell it to the students at cost. So everything that we have here, you can get it either in the resident halls or in our retail locations, but it's being able to share what you have every day in the dorms to have in your apartments and here on campus.
Today is Stuff the Truck here at Marquette University, and Hunger Task Force is really proud to be a part of this event today during homecoming weekend. Marquette University has just a long-standing community tradition of giving back to the community, of giving to the community, service to the community, and Hunger Task Force is really proud to be a partner here today, helping Marquette University collect a lot of healthy foods for Hunger Task Force's food bank. So the food that we're collecting here today is all healthy foods, and it's going to be delivered free of charge to 74 different pantries, soup kitchens, and homeless shelters right here in Milwaukee County. Stuff the Truck is an annual event here at Marquette University. We're always proud to be a part of this event, especially during homecoming weekend here. So we had a great response from the staff and the students at Marquette University today, and they all showed up. They donated a ton of great healthy foods, and we filled our truck. So we stuffed the truck, mission accomplished. Hunger Task Force serves 50,000 people every month here in Milwaukee County who receive help from those local food pantries and soup kitchens. And all this food is going to be provided free of charge to those programs to ensure a local safety net for those families.
To find out on other events that are happening this week, visit marquette.edu/homecoming and visit marquettewire.org for more coverage on these events. From Marquette Wire News, I'm Larson Seaver.
If you missed this week's farmers market, don't worry. There is still one more opportunity in 2 weeks on October 17th from 11 to 2 p.m.
Coming up next, we have your Marquette Sports Report with Ricky Labrada.
Stay right here on MUTV.
Welcome back. I'm Ricky Labrada, and this is your Marquette Sports Report. It's homecoming week, and there are some updates for you on the Marquette men's basketball team. It was media day earlier this week, as the basketball players have been busy at the Owl practicing for this upcoming season. Andrew Rousey says that this team is shaping up to perform well this season, and Marcus Howard even calls it, quote, a team of weapons. MUTV Sports spoke with some of the players to reflect on what happened last year, as well as some of their expectations for this upcoming season.
We have so many weapons on our team, not only myself, but Andrew Rousey, Sam Hauser, just all across the board. I mean, we have so many weapons that it's hard for teams to guard us 5-on-5 offensively. So, I mean, I don't think it's just going to be pinpointed towards me. I think as a team, we have a team full of weapons that could attack at any position.
I know compared to the other biggest teams, we're a little bit younger, but I think with our core 6 guys that we're bringing back, we all have that experience of playing in the Big East, and I think with our experience, it's going to help uplift us. And I think we're going to be right in the mix again like we were last year.
I just got to play my game. I know what I could do. I know what I'm capable of. A lot of people know what I could do, and I'm just got to go back to playing my game. I think I've done this whole offseason to now. I think I've gotten back to just enjoying how to play the game, how I play, and I think it's really going to be a good thing for myself and for the team this year.
I see this team shaping up really well. We're a lot different team than we were last year, a lot of new faces, but we all get along well. We all mesh together as one. We're a good group of guys, so I feel like what we do off the court complements us on the court and vice versa. So
Upcoming one. Yet there are some new players to look for. Every year, the team hosts walk-on tryouts for anyone that believes they have what it takes to be on the team. Andrew Goldstein has a story.
Basketball players often come to Marquette hoping for a shot at the NBA. The participants in the team walk-on tryouts are different. They're just hoping for a spot on the roster.
I think most of us have been trying to prepare the best we could for this. Running, getting in shape, working on our jump shots, footwork, ball handling, agility, whatnot.
15 players competed for that walk-on role, and it's more vital to the team than it appears. Even though walk-ons spend most of their time right here on the bench, Coach Brett Nelson still says it's important to choose the right one because they can make everyone else on the team better.
In practice, they push our guys. They do. No job's too small for those guys, so they bring a lot of value.
As a walk-on, when we're doing this stuff, you got to get it right.
Nelson preached responsibility to each other throughout the afternoon and devised special training to reflect it.
We call them peer pressure drills. So you got to listen, you got to talk, you got to communicate. You got to, you got to hold your share of the rope, and you got to do your role. But if you don't, you're going to let the team down.
The peer pressure was especially intense in the free throw drill. One miss, and everybody had to run.
That's what it's going to be like throughout the season. Whether whoever they take, that it's constant pressure when you're out here on the floor. It's basketball's a team sport.
We do appreciate your all support.
After an exhausting practice, all that's left for the participants is to hope.
Do you think you made it?
We'll see. I'm optimistic.
Marquette on 3, 1, 2, 3, Marquette!
From the Al McGuire Center, Andrew Goldstein, Marquette Wire Sports.
This Friday, there are events Marquette sports fans will not want to miss. First, the women's volleyball team will be battling Providence at 5 o'clock. And following the match, the much-anticipated Marquette Madness starts at 7. This will be the first time we'll meet both the women's and men's basketball teams. A wristband is required for entry, and you can pick one up at 12th Street starting at 3:30 that day. That's all I have for sports. I'm Ricky Labrada. Stay tuned for a segment with Amelia Jones after the break.
Amy Jones, and this is Down to the Wire. I'm with Clara Jansen and Morgan Hughes this evening, and we will be discussing the recent incident of the sexual assault that happened on 19th and Kilbourne, as well as the court decision that was made on Monday. Thank you, ladies, for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
Of course.
And for my first question, just want to talk a little bit about a lot of Marquette students shared the article on Facebook, but most of the posts particularly pertain to the use of the tasers by the Marquette Police Department. Why is the use of tasers even an important aspect to this story? Do you think that maybe it took away from like the actual crime of the sexual assault?
So I think that, the reason that we reported the taser thing is like that's what we heard of first. So actually Clara saw it on Snapchat, and so that was, weren't even totally aware of the sexual assault. And so we reported the taser thing just because that was more of the breaking news angle, and we didn't want to over-report something that we didn't have a lot of details on. So we followed up with the sexual assault, and we changed the headline after the breaking news when we put it in the paper to reflect the sexual assault. But at the time, we didn't want to report on something that we didn't know all the facts about.
Okay, that makes sense. And Morgan, this question is actually for you. It's about your opinions article that you wrote on the Marquette Police Department needing body cameras. Do you think that the actions of the officers, like what we just talked about, threatening to use tasers if people were not complying, would have happened, or would the incident have happened differently once the officers arrived if they were using body cameras?
So I don't know that it would have happened differently. Part of the reason that they have the tasers is because even the threat of using a taser is going to make somebody who's being aggressive stand down, you know, or just like be less aggressive. So I don't know that it would have happened differently. There was a lot of speculation, though, just the night of and the following day. We talked to somebody who said that they thought that the taser was used, and the taser was never used. You know, so had there been a body camera, it just would have helped kind of solidify MEPD's story, and it would have just decreased a lot of the confusion that happened right after that. And it's also just, it's more for MEPD, so then it builds transparency, but it's also just so they can defend their story, and because you know you don't want students to not trust the police department that's, you know, for the campus, and so I think that would just help with the transparency.
Wonderful. And the Marquette Wire reported yesterday that the district attorney actually decided to pin the decision until November of this year. So despite this recommendation from the MEPD to press charges because of their amount of evidence, why do you guys think that the DA, you know, decided to pin this decision?
Well, I talked to the Captain Crayons of the MUPD, and he said it's not surprising that it's going to take longer for this because in a case that's a sensitive matter, he said, she said situation, the district attorney wants to call in the witnesses, police, the accused, and the victim to talk to all of them themselves and wait for all evidence that they've been gathering to come in. So.
Awesome. And they're expecting, did Officer Krantz, did he say like they are expecting that this will be done by November?
Yes.
Okay. And this article actually was one of the most widely viewed articles from the Marquette Wire. It received over 6,000 page views. So congratulations to you guys for that. That's absolutely wonderful. Did you think that this story was going to have such an impact when you wrote it?
Honestly, when I saw the Snapchat story at first and I saw people saying, oh, a taser, whatever, I knew immediately that it would be a big story. And the fact that that ended up being completely separate from the incident with the sexual assault at the same house in the same night, first of all, exacerbated the situation there, but then made the story longer and more complicated, and that's why I think it got so many views.
Awesome. And are you guys going to be continually following up on this story with the Marquette Wire?
Yes, and I contacted the DA, and they will give me the official case number once they have it, and MUPD, Captain Crayons, I talked to him again, and he said the moment that the detectives get an answer about going back in, and when I find out that they're going to go back in and talk to the district attorney again, we'll update that.
And MUPD is working with you guys really well about giving you all the information that they can, because I know sexual assault cases are very sensitive in that they're not open records, obviously. But what is kind of like the process? Have they been very compliant, or is it difficult?
Yeah, they are very compliant. Just because it is a very sensitive issue, Yeah, they can't give us a whole lot of details because they want to protect the victim, obviously, which is like the #1 priority. But in instances of sexual assault, they report that on the daily log, and they're very compliant with us and giving us the information that they can.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Morgan and Clara, again for joining me tonight. And that is all we have for Down to the Wire, but we will see you next week on Marquette Now. Have a great week, Marquette.